Alright, so today I want to give you another bonus video, and I'm going to start with one of my adult ball pythons that doesn't have a name, and I'll pull them out and kind of give you some of the background and the history on the snake, and then we'll give it a name. I'm actually going through and naming all my snakes. A lot of them don't have names, so I'm figuring out the names for them, and then after we work with the ball python, give it a name, I'm going to jump out in the barnyard and kind of give you an update on some of the projects that I have here around the farm. Alright, so take a look at this snake. This is my Bamboo Calico male. I actually produced this about 2 years ago, and I bred him this year. I bred him to a couple clutches. Got 2 clutches of eggs so far from this guy. And kind of the interesting thing is I recently proved that the mom of this guy might be 100% head for Desert Ghost. I bred a visual Desert Ghost to her this year and produced some hatchlings that it looks like they're visual Desert Ghosts, which means this one has a 50% chance that it carries 1 copy of the Desert Ghost gene, which really changes everything. It'd be really awesome if I could actually breed this to a visual Desert Ghost and get some just like this, only with a Desert Ghost gene in addition to this. Desert Ghost really makes a lot of genes really pop. And the other interesting thing about the female that this came from is we think it also might have cinnamon in the mix. And I always wondered where kind of some of this gray color came from, and it almost has like a cinnamon color in the back of it, and it'd be really awesome if this one actually had cinnamon in it. So I have 2 clutches of eggs from this guy, and we'll probably prove out the cinnamon. I don't think we'll prove out the Desert Ghost because I didn't breed him to anything Desert Ghost this year, but if I breed him next year to a visual Desert Ghost or something that's had Desert Ghost and we can prove it out, that would be really awesome. I could actually get some Bamboo Desert Ghost, which is pretty fantastic. And I'm actually gonna pick a name for this guy. I've had him for 2 years and I've never named him, which is kind of crazy. So I'm gonna pick out a name for this guy, and we'll see what I picked out of the jar. Here is his new name, Slinky. All right. All right, so for today's bonus video, the bonus footage in the bonus video, I'm actually going to show you something you probably haven't seen before. This is actually my garden up here in the mountains of Colorado, and the growing seasons are super short and there's a whole bunch of predators. And let me tell you, I pretty much gave up on my garden and revived it again this year. I've been trying for 15 years. It's been so frustrating, and I finally went to this. You can see it's kind of like a welded carport that I actually bought on Craigslist, and I put it together up here. And I used to keep the vegetables and stuff right in the ground here, and had actually pretty good soil here, believe it or not. And it was so frustrating. All the birds and the deer and the rabbits and the squirrels would come in here and eat everything. And I finally went to where I wrapped some it was like a deer fence, like a really heavy-duty metal fence around the sides of this. I did that for a couple years and planted stuff in the ground. The first year I had really good luck with potatoes. These are all my potatoes over here. And then I think it was the 2nd or 3rd year, I had these moles or voles or whatever it is get underneath the ground and actually eat all my potatoes. They wouldn't eat them, they just take one little bite out of every single little potato. And I gave up on this garden for a long time, and it was pretty much just sitting here with nothing in it. And I finally revived it this year because, you know, the potential risk of the food shortages and everything. So actually what I did is I took my stock tanks from my cows and I drilled holes in the bottom, which really killed me. They were really expensive stock tanks. I didn't really want to drill holes in them, but I finally went to the holes in my stock tank. And the seasons up here are really short. They're about 2 months long before it freezes. As a matter of fact, I planted a whole bunch of stuff over here in these pots, and some stuff was starting to come up. And then about 2 weeks ago, believe it or not, we actually got another snow. I can't believe it. You know, it's the 1st of July and we're still getting snow. And usually July, August is pretty safe, and then in September it freezes again. So I can't even hardly do anything. And over here I actually planted some sweet potato sprouts here, and they started coming up really good. And then we got the snow, and it killed them. Pretty much everything dies. The only thing I found that really handles the short seasons and the cold weather are these potatoes. And look at how many potatoes I actually have in these containers. They are going crazy. This is about, I think I planted about 50 pounds of potatoes in both of these together, and probably I'm thinking I'll probably get between 300 and 500 pounds of potatoes. It is pretty awesome. Essentially what I do is I just put them in there, and then I let them pretty much grow until they get frosty in the fall and they all die back, and then I just dig up tons and tons of potatoes. And essentially underneath, if you can kind of dig down in here, I have like I started them on my leftover bedding from my snakes. It's the coconut husk bedding, and for my fertilizer I pretty much use like a snake manure and snake skins. It seems like it actually works pretty good. And then this is the first time I'm trying onions and garlic, so I have some onions over here. I actually bought some of the real big onions from the store, and they were starting to sprout, so I put them over here. Took them a long time to kind of die back down and then start coming back up, so it'll be kind of interesting to see how my onions do. And then I actually bought some garlic, some of the big elephant garlic, and I put it over here. It seems like the onions and the garlic are doing pretty good. And with these stock tanks, I shouldn't have the little critters coming up from underneath and actually eating my garden, which was one of the big things. As a matter of fact, I tried a little strawberry plant in here one year, and the birds came and completely devastated all the strawberries. You can't really do it with all the birds. And I bought this bird netting that goes over the whole top and just kind of threw some boards on the top. And this is really awesome stuff. It's like I can actually put a link to it below. It's really highly rated. And what I do is I just kind of tuck it in the top here, and then I just kind of bring it down like this, so it's completely enclosed. And then I just tuck the end of the netting underneath this board, kind of wrap it up, and then I put some little weights on it, and it's completely predator proof. Of course, you know, if a bear or something like that wanted to get in there, I don't think a bear would get in there and start digging up my potatoes and onions. But you know, I think this is pretty much the best bet that I've, you know, kind of the best setup that I've actually had in all these years of trying to work with this crazy garden. And it's pretty big. I'd say I'm not sure exactly how big it is. I haven't really measured it. I think the netting is like, oh, I can't even remember. It was like a 30 by 50 foot netting on top of that. So it's kind of an interesting setup. You've probably never seen anything quite like it. All right, day number 30. Check out the high security on these ducks. I keep them in here pretty much all the time, unless I'm actually out here working with them. Take a look at these duckies. Come on, boys. Day number 30, and I have a treat. I have a treat for you guys. And the treat I have is right in this box. Look what's in here. Oh my goodness. What could be in here? What's in this box? Look. I have more ducks. Look at that. I actually hatched out some more eggs. And these are about a week and a half behind all the other ducks. And we'll see how they get along. Let's see. Let's see if they'll all merge into one big flock here. Yeah, oh look, oh boy, look at that. They are kind of lost. Look at that, oh my goodness. Let's see how they'll actually merge and interact the two flocks together. This should be really interesting. Hopefully they won't get picked on too much. And the new babies don't know where to go, and everyone else is following them. Oh, that is pretty funny. That is pretty funny. They look like they're getting along. It look like they're merging into one big flock. Not too bad. And we still have some that are slacking. Come on, tick, tick, tick. Here, tick, 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 tick. Tick, 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 tick. Tick, 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 tick. Oh my goodness. These crazy ducks. I can't even call them over. Some of them are really scared. I think they're really scared of this box. I'm gonna move this box. So it seems like everybody's getting along, no problems at all. And let me tell you, it looks like I have a lot of ducks. You add 4 more to the flock, and it quickly grows from 9 to 13. That is quite a few ducks. And it's kind of funny. It seems like the friendliness and the lack of fear is kind of a learned behavior with a lot of these animals, especially with ducks. If you have some really friendly ducks and you put some other ones that are kind of fearful with them, it seems like they all kind of mellow out and they learn kind of the, the friendliness. And they're all jumping in the water and having a great time. It's kind of awesome. And it's funny that I actually took this bale of straw that I'm sitting on right now and I moved it a little bit further from these ducks, a little bit further away, and they want me to be right here next to them to feel secure, where they're, you know, they're not really afraid of anything. They're really, it seems like they're afraid of everything, you know, especially with the crows flying over. I can definitely see it, but they are really working together as a big flock. Pretty awesome.